Very good afternoon, students. Today we are going to do the revision of a topic called pest control. As you have already become very familiar with what are the different types of pests and what is pest control, the definition of pest, and the treatments required to take these pests into control. Well, all these pests are clearly understood that they are uninvited guests to come into our houses or to our workplace. Well, what is a pest? A pest is an organism that competes with humans, animals, and plants for food and water, injures the humans, and also transmits the diseases from one person to another person. The various types of pests include insects, arthropods, microbial organisms, weeds, mollusks, and vertebrates. Let us go into the examples of these pests which we come across in our daily life, like cockroaches, termites, and beetles, which comes under the category of insects, mites and spiders in the category of arthropods, bacteria under the category of microbial organisms, and any unwanted plants grown in unwanted areas are categorized under weeds. The snails and shipworms under the category of mollusks, and the most troublesome rats and mice under the category of vertebrates. Here is a picture that depicts the different types of pests that we come across in our daily life under various categories, like we have rats, cockroaches, carpet beetles, mosquitoes, fleas, and you have ants and bees, silverfish, etc. Coming to the first category, bed bugs, which will be a real nuisance for the guest because this survives on the bed. Though this PPT says in detail of how it becomes a nuisance than danger, disturbing the sleep of the guest, utmost care has to be taken while doing the bed making and checking the mattresses at regular intervals. These bed bugs are transported from clothing and transfer of luggage from one guest to another. So the luggage racks, the wardrobes, and the beds have to be taken utmost care while cleaning the room. Bed bugs' existence gives us a very unpleasant smell in the rooms wherever they survive. Coming to the silverfish, these are a silvery gray insects which looks like a minute fish but without fins. They feed on the cellulosic materials like paper and fabric. Moist areas have to be cleaned to get rid of these pests, and the treatment is pyrethrum and sodium fluoride crystals are the effective treatment. And as we know already, the permanent solution will always be fumigation by the pest control experts. The most common problem in the food areas is our cockroaches. These are the nocturnal insects that spends most of the day hiding in the cracks and drains and bathroom and other areas. And these are very active in the daytime. These cockroaches harm a lot, especially in the food areas, by carrying food poisoning bacteria in their bodies, and very active in spreading the diseases called as dysentery and gastroenteritis. They will feed on the fecal matter to food. So utmost care has to be taken by the housekeeping department to ensure that these cockroaches are not entering into our areas, and even if they enter, they have to be treated immediately. And students, please keep this in mind. Cockroaches are the most difficult pest to eradicate. Next category is moths, which are pale yellow or whitish in color, which are mostly found in food storage areas. And these attack stored food products like grains and cereals and nuts. And these are which are there in our kitchens. And to our surprise, when we open the lid, we find these moths. So care has to be taken in the food areas, especially when any kind of ingredient has not been used for a long time, keep the caps open for some time and get it exposed so that the moth development will not happen. The best way to avoid any kind of pest problem is to keep the place clean and hygienic and maintain good sanitation. Food areas were cooked and eaten to be cleaned and washed regularly, and delay in mopping up the food spills and leaving the food exposed in packets or containers can attract the pests. Well, students, this point to be very much highlighted and understood very clearly, and of course to be implemented. Use of insecticides in food preparation areas and storage areas are to be avoided, especially when the operations are on. So the pest controlling should be done only in the nights when there is no food preparation. The next category is ants. These insects are generally invade in large numbers when they come in search of food, especially the sweet substances. They enter by the crevices, and the treatment is boiling water poured over the nest. So wherever you find a group of ants, so just pour the boiling water and spray the borax powder over the ants. And the most harsh treatment in case if it is big nuisance, spraying 2 tablespoons of carbon bisulfide at the entrance, and the vapors of this substance are very highly inflammable. Hence, the ants will be totally eradicated. This treatment should be done with utmost care. The other problem is termites. These are called as white ants. The 2 most common types of termites are drywood and ground termites. Both of these eat cellulose found in wood and wood products for their nutrition. Ground termites are more dangerous than the former, causing damage to the wooden structures. Now this picture shows us the difference between ants and termites. Students, the treatment that is required for the wood termites is treated lumber during the construction. That means the wooden furniture is injected with orthodichlorobenzene, which will kill, and it's a preventive care that we are taking so that the furniture does not attract the termites. Wax and varnish, polish also will stop the entry of the termites into the wooden pores. These are the flies. Again, very common problem. These are the insects which are dangerous as they contaminate the food, causing diseases like typhoid and cholera and dysentery. They carry the disease germs on their legs and in their saliva. They are transferred to the food on which they sit. And the treatment that would go for these flies is burn all the garbage as early as possible and keep all the dustbins covered at all points of time. Aerosol fly killers and sprays are the best way to get rid of all these flies. Next one, and mice and rats. These rodents are hazardous and they carry the plague and typhoid diseases, and food poisoning infection will happen through these mice and rats. And as we discussed in the previous classes, they are the barriers of carrying the droppings and urine and their fur from one place to another, and that is the root cause for causing of diseases. And the treatment is poisoning, trapping, fumigating, and in large buildings, rat proofing. Fungi. These are the general cause structural damage to the property inside the premises, and it is more likely to be found in kitchens, bathrooms, and roofs. Outside, it attacks window frames, sills, door frames, whereas water has penetrated the paintwork. And the treatment is eradication of fungi must be through and should be handled by experts. What are the pest control goals? Now, we are calling them as experts, and what are their goals? These are the points to be kept in mind for pest control. The 3 areas to be focused: prevention, suppression, and eradication. What is prevention? Keeping the pest away before it may become a problem. That is the reason why we say prevention is better than cure. So before they enter, we are taking the precautionary measures by doing the necessary precautions, and which we are calling it as prevention. And suppression is kind of reducing by giving a nominal treatment to suppress the pests. And eradication is destroying the entire pest population. This is how a pest control person will look like, with a kind of complete uniform from top to bottom, wearing a cap and a mask, and then he will have a can and he will be going from room to room with the permission of the supervisor and the GRAs, and spray the chemical in all the vacant rooms. So you can see how this gentleman is wearing gloves and the can holding to ensure that the spray is not going into his nostrils or mouth. So the entire face mask is covering his nose and mouth. What are the methods of pest control? So we have different methods, and the first one is natural control. Natural control is generally the kind of controlling the pest by natural ways. And what are the natural ways? By climate, like weather conditions, temperature, humidity affects the pest activity. And natural enemies, birds and reptiles and amphibians, fish and mammals. So the geographic barriers are mountains and large bodies of water restrict the spread of many pests. Food and water supply. Pest population can thrive only when their food and water is taken care. Their food source, plant or animal, when exhausted, the pests automatically dies. And the shelter, the availability of shelter can affect some pest population. So when you're giving a place for them to grow, their reproduction will happen, and then the pest numbers will become large. So don't give them a shelter for growing. So that also will be one of our methods of controlling naturally. But natural control do not alone quickly or completely helps us in preventing the injury or damage. Second one is biological control. This process involves the introduction of natural enemies like parasites, predators, and pathogens. Biological control does not target the eradication. Cultural control is using of some kind of chemicals and to reduce the number of pests which are attacking the cultivated plants. But here in this topic, as we are not related to plants, we are only learning about how to take care of the operations. So some of the common practices followed are relating to the crops, cultivating the soil, changing the time of planting or harvesting, pruning, thinning, etc. So this is one way of cultural control, but very rare we follow this cultural control in terms of pest control in our regular operations. But students, keep this also in mind. The reason why I'm teaching you this is we have horticulture. So this pest will be a kind of damage even in our garden areas, because we have lots of plants in and around the hotel premises. So cultural control also should be learnt by us as to how to control the pest in case if there is a damage in our garden areas. Next one, mechanical and physical control. Now, the using of equipments and machines and other mechanical methods come under this category. Now, what do you mean by physical control? Traps, screens, barriers, fences, nets, radiation, and electricity are sometimes to be used to prevent the spread of pests into an area. Lights, heat, and refrigeration can also alter the environment to suppress some pest population. Students, the most important one that one has to practice to control the pest population is sanitation. Good sanitation practices should be followed to prevent the infestation, and they can suppress some pests by removing either the pest or pests themselves or their sources of food and shelter. One of the very important technique that can be followed is decontaminating the equipment, materials, and other possible carriers before allowing them to enter a pest-free area or leave an infested area. Now, chemical control. Pesticides are the chemicals used to destroy the pests. So that is the picture that I have shown you, how the chemical control will take place in the hotels. Control their activity or prevent them causing damage. Pesticides either attract or repel the pests. Chemicals that regulate the plant growth or foliage are called as pesticides. Pesticides are the fastest way to control the pests. And waste disposal. In the first semester, we have learned about the garbage disposal. That means wet garbage and dry garbage. And I do hope that we are all following the same even in our houses. Hygienic waste disposal is an integral part of pest management. Waste acts as a breeding place for the variety of pests. The wastage generated in hotels should be disposed of in closed bins, which should be emptied at regular intervals into the main waste collection area called as garbage room. From there, the municipal corporation team will come and collect the garbage. Avoiding the harmful effects of pest control, instructions to be followed before using pesticides. Read the precautions and instructions on the packaging. Now, these are to be followed by the pest control experts, and we have a contractor who will be doing the services for us by helping us sending one pest control person every day without fail in the general shift, or if required in the night shift, to ensure that our operations are not disturbed, and at the same time the pest controlling is also done. So all these rules and regulations and the instructions to be strictly followed by the pest control people who are coming to our hotel or to our area, to our workplace, will be following all this. Rubber gloves, I have already shown you the picture how a pest control person should be looking like. It is advised to use face masks. Hands should be washed thoroughly after usage of pesticides. Unused leftover chemicals should never be disposed in drains or sinks. Now, the last point should be utmostly taken care. Unused and leftover chemicals. What happens is the bottle is almost empty. So we people generally throw that in the sink or whatever. So that will leave harmful flame, and that might cause damage when the guest suddenly opens the sink tap. So unused and leftover chemicals should never be disposed of in the drains and sinks or toilets. Thank you, students. I hope this is clear. The revision class of pest control. Please prepare well and do well in your exams. Thank you, students.